Welcome to the stream, everybody. My name is Jose. I am a Golden in Kendo. This is Kendo Tips, and today we're going to be watching some Kendo together, talking about Kendo, and answering any questions you may have about it. So, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just keep setting up this stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm running a little bit, I guess, late. Not so much, but, I've been getting stuff ready. This is my last stream from US before I go to Japan. So, I'm excited. If you guys have any questions, I'm thinking about making a short video about some Kendo tips about doing Kendo in Japan. So if you have any of those questions here, leave them down in the comments. That way I can answer them in that video that hopefully I can post by Monday. So Galaxy, Ohio, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Guys, if you haven't, please take a second, hit the like button. It really helps the channel get pushed out to more people. And for those of you who want to join the Discord server, I'll put the link in the chat. And if you guys want to send me some videos so we can use in the stream to talk about them, analyze them, feel free to do so. Discord's a great way, but if you don't have Discord, maybe Instagram. I should probably start putting up like an email or something for the channel. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great Kendo week. For me, it's been kind of busy packing and getting stuff ready to go out to Japan. So I guess I will be having lots of Kendo, or good Kendo weeks coming up in the, for the following weeks. So I'll keep you guys updated. If there's anything that you guys want me to share while being there, also feel free to share that, to let me know in the comments. Okay. Let's get going with some of the videos. I'm not gonna stay here too long, guys, because obviously I have stuff that I need to do before the trip. But, okay, I'm putting up a video. I don't remember, it's a Japanese channel, but what I wanted to do today, this is the channel right here. Oh, you can see it, hold on. I'll just post the link on the chat, okay? And here you go. There you go. If you guys want to go watch the video, it's in the comments. Rice, welcome. Thank you very much for passing by. I just read your message as I was getting on, so congratulations, by the way. And yeah, I'll message you after, so I can say congratulations properly, but thank you for being here. Galaxy is going great. You got in the Southeastern US SUSKF. It's just easier to say it that way, right? Girls team, awesome, congratulations. And Saturday as well. Okay, so you couldn't be here last Saturday. Now, thank you very much for keeping me in mind, but congratulations. When is Nationals again? Is it this year or is it next year, right? And I've been talking to Register Sensei. I believe he's coaching the juniors, right? So that's cool, guys. Oh, is this June? Whoa! Oh my God, that's right. You guys get selected like so short. Yeah, I remember. We didn't have a year of training. It was pretty close after its selection. As a matter of fact, I think like we were still getting like pretty much until the last minute to being selected. So, okay, well, congratulations. You guys do your best. At this point, my advice, I know you guys didn't ask, but I'm just gonna give a little bit of my 2 cents. Don't change your Kendo. Go ahead and go with your Kendo. I was talking to Register Sensei Galaxy yesterday or the day before. We need to have a call before I head out, by the way. Talking a little bit about some of the things that he's going through with the coaching. So that's awesome. It's cool to know all these people that are doing such good things for Kendo. So I'm happy to learn from them. I was gonna do something here in the stream. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. Okay, you guys can. Oh, I wanted to fix the screen real quick. Hold on. Whoop, there. That's better. Okay. Good. Now we're good. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna compete so soon, don't change anything in your kendo. As a matter of fact, I'm told that maybe I will be competing in May, so that'll be exciting because I haven't competed since before COVID, which kind of sucks. I've traveled a lot, but I haven't been able to travel for tournaments, you know. So I'm excited for that. Okay, so what I wanted to do today, I actually had this video saved on my uh, what's it called? My watch later list. And I remember I saved it because I wanted to go back a little bit in time on tournaments, 2022, as you can see on the screen, just to kind of compare a little bit about how the COVID rules were being implemented back then, and see if we see any differences on how they're being done now. So last week we did a more recent tournament. Now this week is going to be a little bit more um, a little bit from the past. Rice, Galaxy, congrats. You don't have to do dox yourself. Oh, okay. Oh, I normally called you Rice just because so people know here on the stream why our oh, I'm guessing you're talking to her. Sorry, my bad. Um, yeah, guys, like, please, I'm happy to see how the Discord server is evolving, like how people are getting to know each other, but even people from from here, you guys are starting to meet up as well. So I'm happy to see that. So please, yeah, it keeps me motivated to know that what we're doing here, like, it's actually making, it's I'm making an impact. So any suggestions as well, please send them my way. Um, Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't think about that. But the Hikiwasa rules, how are they handling it for nationals um, and the tryouts? That's actually a good question for me to ask. How they're doing that? How they're gonna do in nationals? And will there be a live stream? That'll be kind of cool if I could be there too. But obviously, I won't be here. Um, Okay, guys, been talking a lot, been mumbling a lot. Again, I wanted to watch some Ippon videos from judging back from 2022. So I guess we won't be able to see too much of the COVID rules, but I just kind of want to look at how they approach with the rules right now, if there's any separations, like, sudden separations and so on. Okay. Um, Right, so you're saying that, okay, there's still like a little bit, like, not everybody's on the same page when it comes to the COVID rules. Is kind of what I'm interpreting from your message. So yeah, this is going to be an ongoing problem, I think, for a little while. I just hope it gets ironed out by the time the World Championships come in. Ah, okay. I started here for. That's a cool attempt for that Suki there. Nice guy, Shido. Ooh, this cote is very nice, right? Hold on. I talked a little bit about this on the last stream, but it's always cool to see it, and it's the change of timing, right? A lot of times when we're trying to get an ippon, sometimes we get so tense that we just kind of just go, right? And a lot of the times, this signals that we're sending allows our opponents to kind of cover, dodge, or move away from this area of danger. But if you're able to kind of come in relaxed and then suddenly change the rhythm and go fast, it's a great tool to have in order to create that surprise and be able to take advantage of the opportunity immediately. So if you watch here, let's maybe watch it first. Let's watch it here, regular speed first. So if you notice, white starts kind of approaching slowly, not kind of rushing in, just trying to approach slowly and find the right moment when he's going to explode onto the opponent. Right? And again, it's not a direct, sorry, it's not a direct, I'm coming in and I'm attacking, right? It's more of a, hold on, even a little bit before this. Okay, a little bit before that. So if you notice, and that's another thing that I mentioned last stream, but something that I feel is extremely important. Your engagement with your opponent shouldn't start once you start touching swords. It should start from before. And when you have this distance and that awareness within this distance, you can start applying pressure and seeing the reactions for the opponent. Maybe you won't have an opportunity to strike, but at least you start figuring out what type of opponent you have before you enter the danger zone. So if you notice here, white, look, as he steps forward, he kind of starts stepping forward with the forward foot and leaning in slightly, just to kind of start getting that pressure. Maybe sometimes this pressure is enough to get the opponent nervous to just come in and throw a man, and maybe the other person can do Kaishido. Just, what's it called? A random scenario. But maybe this pressure alone, it's enough to get you an opening. But the main point here is that white is taking this opportunity to start analyzing his opponent. As he's coming in, you see, he puts pressure, holds slightly, sees that that pressure is not enough, and he starts closing further the distance. Then immediately explodes into the opponent. I'm guessing because what he saw there was that his opponent wasn't really reacting. His opponent was kind of frozen, not reacting, and maybe he felt that there was an opportunity there, and he decided to go quickly. So if I can give you a Kendo tip, hold on, let me just go back to this point right here. So if I can give you a Kendo tip today, is to always be ready, be in your full kamae before the time where your shinai touches your opponent's shinai. Because if you wait to come in, then a lot of opportunities that are there, you may have closing those doors, and you're gonna start from zero in a little bit closer distance. So it's always good to start trying at least to put the pressure and understanding your opponent from a little bit further, and as you reach in, you already have some information to work with, which is something that I see normally people kind of overlook. Let me know your thoughts, because it's something. How do you do it? How do you approach your opponent? Do you wait for the shinai to touch before you actually engage them, or you start engaging them from farther out? And of course, what I was talking about, the timing, coming in relax and then changing the rhythm. Coming in relax also allows you to change the rhythm to attack faster and sharper. And if you come in with tension, your opponent can read this pressure and be on guard. But if you're able to also come in relax and then change the rhythm by going faster, you may actually open up, or at least keep those doors open a little bit longer, enough for you to come in and take an ippon. So again, I think it's a good example. And if you watch it slow motion. Oh wait, this was the wrong ippon. Where are we? Did I go too far? Okay. Here we go. Very nice, very sharp. And let me just look at something real quick. So a lot of times the opponent also doesn't give you you also have to practice and learn how to read your opponent without having that touch with your shinai, with the opponent's shinai. because sometimes the opponent will not give you that feeling. And if you notice here, another thing that happens is that white, as he comes in relaxed, and then when he decides to go forward, he actually goes underneath the opponent's shinai to come in and take that kote. Very nice impact, very nice execution, I think. I don't know. What do you think? So this is a good. Again, this is 1 year ago, right? Actually, when was this video posted? Actually, it was like 7 months ago. So I guess they haven't been like. I don't know how many tournaments has there been. Actually, being Japan, there's a lot. But what I'm saying is that you start seeing that there is Hikiwasa attempt where the Hikiwasa didn't score, and there's no Hansoku, right? For me, I guess the best way to describe it is that if you're in Suba Serie and the tension is gone, you should separate. But if there's still fight within there, if they're like, there's going to be, and not so long, because again, it's kind of having like a long geiko. If you have a long jigeiko, the fire is gone, right? You want to avoid this. You want to always have that. So even in Suba Serie, I don't know. Keep that in mind. That's an interesting order of raising the flags. Let me see. Okay, come on. So that's an interesting order of raising the flags. Although you can see that this judge, can you see my mouse? Yeah, the judge here has perfect view of it, right? Normally, what I'm saying, normally, in this case, this judge will probably be the first one raising the flag if this person doesn't have a full view of it. I think because of the angle, he has perfect view of it. Maybe this judge saw it as well, but he wasn't quite sure because, he can't really see the target. I think this judge right here probably has one of the best viewings. This one, I think, probably has second best viewing because he's still moving this way, right? And then I guess the third best viewing will be this judge. So it's interesting how the flags went up in this order. Because mind you, the guy in the corner, if he didn't think it was a kote, he didn't have to raise that flag, right? Because the point was already awarded or anything. Like he had no responsibility of raising that flag, but he still rose it. So it's interesting to see, like, and this is something that I have heard in seminars about shimpanning, that sometimes you don't want to be influenced by the other judges, right? You have to make sure that you have the information and you judge the ippon independently. But sometimes when you have in these angles where you're not in the best position based on how the match is going, maybe you use your ears, you use what you see, and you also see what the other side is seeing and trying to, piggyback from that. But that being said, I thought it was an interesting order of raising the flags. This is... Okay, I just want to see the motion that he's doing. So, this motion for the Kenshi on the right, I don't like it, right? I don't like... It's not I don't like to do it. I don't like people to copy this precise way, especially if you don't know the engagement or how both hands work together, because it's really easy for somebody that's kind of, learning the mechanics of moving the sword to pull and push with the right hand here, right? Where they do this rather than using both hands to throw the technique. So you see here, he is extending the sword with the right hand. He's getting it away from its body, but then towards the end, he's using the left hand to create the impact. And so he's using both hands. It's not just using one hand to push, to pull and push. So please be mindful of this if you're actually doing this. Very risky. Okay. Just because, again, there's a lot of confusion with the COVID rules or the provisional COVID rules, however you want to call them. I'm just gonna take a second to break this down. I think it's a great interaction. I think it's a great interaction to kind of analyze. Okay, so in your opinion, if you could take a second, let me know if you think this should be Hansoku or should be Ippon, and if you can give me a little reason, and if you can give me a little bit of why you think so, I'll appreciate that. But let me give you my opinion. Let me give you my thoughts. Okay, so they come in with a technique. They come in to Suba Serie. There is not Tari at this point, right? They just come in directly into Suba Serie because of the interaction. From here, this is what I mean about, this is what I've been saying about keeping the tension in the Suba Serie. When that tension is gone, is when the Kenshi is when the Kenshi should separate. But here, there's still a little bit of there is engagement, right? And then not only there is engagement, but there is purpose to the movement. White is being static and red is kind of moving around trying to figure out the position. He's using a little bit of relaxation and tension, so he's playing around with both. And then when he sees this opportunity, even though you see that kind of white is kind of to start going back, but in the defensive mode, he creates a motion, right? He creates an opening by playing around with the relaxation and tension. At some points he looks relaxed, but then he explodes. So this fight is the one that I fear the most to go away from Kendo if the rules get interpreted as in there is not Hikiwasa allowed. Again, this is a tournament within using the COVID. Again, this is a tournament in Japan using the COVID rules. So it is interesting to see how the interactions are being judged. We should keep practicing learning these interactions because it's important in order for us to do better shinpaning and to promote better Kendo. That's the reason why I'm taking so much time every opportunity I get on this, because I want to learn and I want all of us to learn, because our shinpaning can affect the Kendo of somebody else, right? It's a beautiful Hikido. And if we want to break down the technique as well, there's a couple of things that are happening that are very interesting. Look at Red's footwork. You know, he's keeping his body towards the opponent and he's moving his feet, setting up his feet. The back leg is a little bit further out, right? When he pushes his opponent, you're gonna see the push of the arms. Hold on. So you see he's extending his arms slightly, but he's not pushing the opponent. He's going to do a sudden motion as if he's going to hit the man. And this is enough to get White to raise their arms. So many people, when they're in Super Serie I, they default to pushing. If you have to push, or if you're pushing, you shouldn't be pushing your opponent. You should be pushing yourself away from the opponent. That being said, Red sets up his footwork to be able to hit. He's playing around again with relaxation with different timings. He goes slightly slow to raise the hands. Not slow where it looks like he's not gonna do something. He looks like he's going to hit, but not as fast as he engages for the do, right? And that's a good way to allow the person to kind of register the fact that the sword might be coming to the head. So he covers up, but then obviously he makes an opening. That being said, always when you're trying to pull away from your opponent, you want to make sure that your sword is towards them. You don't want to bring the sword back to you. Quick Kendo tip, I guess. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Rise, you're saying Ippon. Yeah, I agree with you for all the reasons that I just said. Caitlin, looks like a sharp Hikido to you. Unsure why it would be perceived as Hansoku. We're talking about how people may be interpreting the usage of Taatari and Subaseriai based on the provisional rules for Kendo. You know, this whole thing that everybody's talking about, not being able to do Hikiwasa during the cover rules, I guess. This is sharp. This is very good. This is another ippon that I like to break down for a second. That kote has a very little upswing, but how can he get good impact? With his body. Watch. So, actually, it's not a little upswing. He actually came with a lot of impulse. But he came in, he actually brought it up as his opponent was coming in. That's very cool. That's actually very cool. He managed to get the sword around his opponent's sword. Nice. Isn't this so cool how they they clean the courts like so uniformly, like so nice? So sorry, I got distracted a little bit with that cleaning crew over there. Wow. Very risky. Degote can be very risky. Can be very rewarding, but it can also be very risky. Yeah, you see, like he had the timing. He just didn't have the accuracy of it. I guess he didn't have the, you know, the yeah, the right place to go. But timing was good. But you know. Ooh. Sometimes you have to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. Not always the opponent is going to react the way you want to your pressure. So being ready to take those opportunities, it's important. This, I think, is a good example of that, because if you look at it, okay, so red closed in the distance, white is trying to keep the distance where there's a lot of tension. White decides to throw a technique and kind of stays slightly open right after. And red was engaged into it, so he took advantage of this moment in order to get his score, in order to get his ippon. Now, how do you train this? I think Kakarigeko is a good way to train this. If you hate Kakarigeko, this is something that, yeah, you have to love Kakarigeko. But another way to do so is to, again, during your Jigeko, don't have a dull moment. Make sure that you are always engaged into the fight. And a lot of little interactions like like turning around when somebody opens the door of the dojo, or stopping to talk and things like this kind of takes away the fire of the fight. So I think it's more beneficial to do a shorter fight that is 100% focused than having a 5-minute Jigeko where every so often we're kind of like releasing that tension. And you know what I mean? So yeah, let me know your thoughts. How would you train this specific mental aspect for your own kendo, or how do you do it? I think this is another, and this is another same example, right? The person, a white is coming in, and red is keeping the kamae. But what ends up happening is that because white made an opening, red was able to capitalize on this little mistake and take the nippon. So again, this is something that you always want to be mindful of, how to always take advantage of the opportunities, even if you didn't make that opportunity. Christina, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Thank you very much for being here. Guys, make sure that you hit the like button if you haven't. It really helps the channel. I'll put the link to the Discord server again, just to make sure if anybody would like to be part of the Discord, feel free to do so. Link is right there. Give me 1 second. Okay. And let's keep going. You hear the audience? So, I'm not gonna say that I am an expert on Utsuki, right? I think very few people can say that they're experts on Utsuki, but we can still study some of the right elements of it. And I feel that one of the right elements for Utsuki is the timing. When are you going to do it? When is the right time to do Tsuki? A lot of the times it's when the person is kind of just frozen, and the distance is right, because you also have to be very aware of your distance. But another one, which is I think what just happened here, is when the person is going backwards. Oh, I went too back. So if you watch, the person is going back. White is trying to catch the distance. Red keeps making separation, and white is able to kind of squeeze himself between the arms and the target, and it's crazy. I think this is so hard to have this accuracy right here, right? Which, by the way, if this is something that you want to train, I think many of us have seen those videos, but if you haven't, here's an opportunity. A lot of times when people are practicing like uchikomi or even like a karigeiko, sometimes they'll open the tsuki this way, but sometimes they'll open it like they'll give like awkward openings, so the person can be kind of comfortable doing a tsuki practice at different angles. So maybe this is something that you want to kind of check out. I don't know, a tool out there. Okay, somebody just gave a comment. Give me 1 second. Right, you're saying so skill. Yeah, that was a very hard one to pull off because the opponent has were up. Yeah, it's like they were up, and also he had so very little. Like, I feel that if his opponent would have done like this, it would have been enough to like push off the shinai. But yeah, obviously, it was pretty good. It was awesome. Okay, we have to take a second because this is Jordan, right? So we have to... So it's very interesting how White is fighting against Jordan and his Shinai is so far down, right? So I know like kind of like the basic or the what's the word? Like the to go stance that you're told to do against Jordan is to, you know, kind of threaten the kote, have the sword up here. This, it's very useful, but the main mistake I feel that people start getting against Jordan when they assume this kamae is that they believe that because the sword is in an angle, the kote is safe, which I don't think so. And as a matter of fact, the more you raise your hands, the more exposed that kote is against the Jordan player. So you have to understand these elements and try to put them into consideration when you're fighting a Jordan player. So I think a very I'm not gonna say classical technique is to I don't know if I want to say classical technique, but a good way to approach this is to entice or to provoke the Jordan players to bring the hands down, especially going for men, and then being able to deflect that man and get him. This is one of the, I guess, the most basic ways of approaching a fight against Jordan. And I feel like this is kind of what he just did, right? Let me just go back a little bit. So by keeping his kamae low, he's kind of blocking off the kote and the do for the Jordan player, forcing him to have to go for men. So in a sense, he kind of already has an advantage in the sense that he kind of has an idea where more possibilities. He kind of has an idea of more. What am I trying to say? By lowering his hands down, he starts kind of closing the doors and trying to make his opponent go for men. So in a way, he's kind of just taking advantage of the fact that he believes that most likely his opponent is going to come down for men, especially at this close distance, right? Because Jordan players can get there fairly quick. So as he's doing so, actually, what's it called? The Jordan player, instead of going for men, he brought his hands down, but he brought them down for kote. But I guess because of the distance and because of the timing, White was able to kind of catch on that, but then immediately come down for, oh, he actually didn't hit the men. Look at that. He actually hit a kote. This is pretty crazy. This is pretty cool. But that being said, by keeping his hands down, he does also kind of get an advantage. So it's something that you might want to play around with, but you got to be careful. Please do it under the supervision of your sensei, because I don't want you to get bad habits, because it's very easy to overswing from down here. If you have your shinai down here, it's very easy to overswing. The face of confusion, like I love like the expression of confusion sometimes. Look, you're like, ah. What makes it pressure for me is how the kote is open. Hold on. Like the kote here, I don't know, for some reason it just makes it funny for me. Like he's like, oh. Oh, another Jordan, but now this is a Jordan Ippon. Okay. Yeah, let's watch it from the beginning. Okay. This is kind of what I was talking about early on, that the kamae that you take against Jordan, it's very important to understand what are the weaknesses and what are the strengths. So a lot of times when people learn kamae against Jordan and have the sword or the shinai, when they have the shinai kind of pointing towards the kote, they feel that their own kote, it's safe, but it is not. And against a Jordan player, the higher you bring your hands, the quicker and the easier it's going to be. So many people, they end up falling for the trap of having the shinai on an angle and then raising the hands. I believe in this one, actually, he had the angle, the shinai at a different angle, but watch. As he comes in, okay, he creates this pressure towards the man. The Jodan player creates a pressure towards the man and then makes the Chudan player raise his hands. And as he does that, he's able to go around with both hands, because again, this is the thing. When they're in Jodan, they can hit with one hand or they can hit with both. So, and on top of that, they can switch the legs too. So this gives a lot of diversity and a lot of control that a lot of times, if you're not used to playing against Jodan, it can take you by surprise. So again, you want to try to limit the Jodan players to have different target areas so that way you don't get overwhelmed. But you gotta make sure that as you do so, you're not opening, as you're covering, if you're enticing somebody to attack, you're not making openings that you're not aware of. Yeah, I want to take a second for that because I think it's important to understand what is happening when you're fighting against the Jodan if you want to actually do it better, and if you want that Jodan player also to get stronger. So many times people fall for this trap of raising the hands against Jodan, and they get hit in the hands, and they get hit in the kote by the morote kote with the switching of the legs. So yeah, please kind of watch different. If you have a Jodan player to practice with, let me know your thoughts, how you approach that. But if you don't, please kind of explore yourself how fight is done against Jodan players and watch how they fight so you can understand what could be coming your way. I hope that's helpful. What happened here? Same thing. So this is the classic way that people kind of stand against Jodan, and they think that because their shinai is in an angle, the kote might be safe. And look what happens here. Oh, wait. So, sorry, White actually got the ippon. That's actually pretty cool. So, this is actually kind of what I was talking about for the previous Jodan ippon. If you watch, he is trying to get the Jodan player to come down for the man, to bring down his hands, and he's taking advantage of that swing to go around and hit the man. Now, I have to say this. Jodan players have advantages, but they also have disadvantages in the sense that if the hands come down, depending on the Jodan player, they might not be as good recovering from this. So this is your opportunity. That moment between the swing and the recover for the next swing, this is definitely a good opportunity. Rice, White actually was the one that hit not the Jodan player, the Chudan player hit the ippon, hit the man. And sorry, I wasn't looking at the flags when I saw it. I just kind of like spaced out for a second. Oh, what happened here? Oh, what did I do? What's this? Sorry guys, I kind of went to a wrong video. Hold on, let me just go back to. Oh, this is a good opportunity for me that this video came up because I will be doing a stream with him on April. So yeah, please guys stay tuned with that. For that. Okay, here we are, and my God, what happened with? Oh, this is okay. Sorry, this is a different playlist. Okay, sorry guys, give me 1 second. I'll recover from this. Okay, this is not it. This is not it either. I believe it's this one, no? Man, I have like, what's going on here? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just pause this real quick. This is it. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just close this here and turn down the volume for this. 1 second, just to make sure Right, you're saying you're excited for that stream. Yeah, I'm excited too. I just sent, because we're gonna use an interpreter, so it's going to be a little bit complicated. But I just kind of sent the questions in advance of what we want to talk, so that way, the interpreter can start like reading over that. But if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Maybe I can squeeze them in. We're gonna do a stream for like about an hour and a half. So it's always, we're gonna try to keep it concise. We're trying to keep it compact, but I'm gonna try to see how the conversation goes. See if I can put up a little bit more info out there. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts. Discipline, morning. Thanks for today's live stream. Look at the C-Point highlights are from Gyoryoki tournament, the biggest high school tournament in Japan. Yes, I don't know thank you, because I know your Japanese is better than mine. So, and I cannot read kanji. So, but I put the link to the original video. I can paste it down again. Give me 1 second. And I'll paste it down. Sorry, because I lost the stream for a second. I mean, like the video for a second, but I have it here now. Okay. But for everybody that wants to watch the video later, I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna put I'll put the link to the video again here. Okay, hold on. There you go. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Discipline, by the way, for being here. Everybody here, if you haven't, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel to get pushed out to more people out there. So I appreciate that. Okay. Let's keep going with some more ippons. What happened here? Okay. Nice Kaishido. Nice Kaishido. As you guys know, Kaishido is one of the techniques I like the most. I wish I had a better angle for it, but I think that was a really nice. I always find it funny when the ippons get scored like this again. Like it takes a little bit of time for the ippon to register. But this is something that you have to be aware of as well when you're fighting, not only Jodan players, but in general, that people sometimes they are relaxed and they suddenly change into this eagerness to attack. And you can see this here. And a lot of times this is something that it will surprise you. You gotta be prepared for it. But it's something that also it can work against you, but it can also work for you. Because normally if you can withstand this type of interaction, you're gonna have an opening. So let me just put it to you this way. He's trying to overwhelm you to find an opening, but if he doesn't find an opening, you should also be paying attention to their movement, because there might be an opening there within all this motion that he's doing in order to kind of fluster you, right? So it can be a double-edged sword. Normally, if you're this type of player that you're going to do this type of actions, you gotta be very careful and very aware of what type of player you have, because they might be processing the information as it comes and then take advantage of that. Okay? Guys, by the way, if you guys would like to support the channel, I am putting the membership link in the comments. So please check them out. Let me know your thoughts, and if you can support the channel, that's a good way. That's a good way to do so. That way, I can keep making more content for you guys and keep bringing out more stuff. And by the way, I'm planning on doing something for the people, the members, while I'm in Japan. Whether it is to kind of have like sensei's interviews and have the members, ask questions there for themselves specifically. This is kind of one of the things that I'm thinking about. In the Discord or here, you can let me know what are some of the things that you would like to have as a member. Because again, to all the members, I'm very grateful because it is helping to make more and better videos possible. This is another Hikiwaza. Sorry, I wanted to watch this one real quick. So, Hikiwaza again. I'm gonna take this time just because Hikiwaza again doesn't have to be after Taiyatari. It doesn't have to be Taiyatari. Right now is being used as a response to a technique. So watch this. Right? So you don't have to wait for the Taiyatari in order to produce a Hikiwaza. You can use it as a response to an incoming technique. So being aware, being mindful is very important. Again, I don't want people to get into this mentality that Hikiwaza is gone under the provisional rules. So let's watch this real quick, let's watch how White uses Hikiwaza in order to avoid, in order to get opportunity. So watch this. Oh, okay, this is so slow. So Red throws a kote in, and it looked like White didn't kind of register where he didn't deflect it, but there wasn't an opening there. And right after that, he went in for a men, and he's able to get it pretty much as the opponent is coming in for the Taiyatari. So this is another thing. A lot of times, I remember early on in tournaments, people like to do a lot, coming in and just attacking right from the hajime, and I actually had quite fun opportunities to deal with that. So in this case, you see that White is going to attack right out of the gate, and immediately Red, it's ready as well. He's going in forward. He receives the sword and goes around for that Kaeshido. The interesting part about this is that even though White came in with a lot of intensity, you can see that he didn't quite close the distance too much after. And I think that made it easier for Red to take that Ippo. That being said, you gotta be ready from that moment that you draw your sword. So, be ready. You probably watch my video on Kaeshido, but I'm going to reinforce this here. A lot of times it's not about the technique that you can do, it's can you set that technique up. And in this case, you're gonna see how White is setting up for the Kaeshido. Let's watch it full speed first. Let's watch a little bit in slow motion now. You're gonna watch that the way that he's doing it for this occasion is that he's actually coming in with pressure. He's not waiting there for the opponent to just come, right? So by doing this, he's allowing himself to be ready and to anticipate the opponent's engagement into a technique. The cool thing about doing this is that if you're aware of it, you can actually change your target. You don't have to come in with the mentality, I'm going to do Kaeshi Men. I mean, you don't have to come in with the mentality, I'm going to do Kaeshi Do. You can come in, I am attacking, I'm coming in, and if he decides to attack, I'm going to be prepared. So these are things that you want to do in your practice, but even when you're doing Kihon, you gotta, even when you're doing Kihon and you know you're gonna do Kaeshi Do, you gotta come in with that pressure that you can do any other technique and anticipate when the person comes in to attack. Now, this is not the only way to set up Kaeshi Do, for example, but it's a good way, but I think it's a good way to start in order to understand how to have that forward intention rather than be just waiting for the opponent to come. Again, another Hikiwasa. So in this one, it's interesting too, right? Because in this one, there's no Tagatari and barely any Subasiriai either, right? So, yeah, no Subasiriai either, sorry. So there's no Tagatari, there's no Subasiriai, and red is kind of just keeping the distance here. One thing you want to do when you engage into a technique is either closing the distance quick, get out, or attack again, right? So in this moment, white is kind of just freezing, and red immediately goes in for that opening that's right there. So again, something that you want to keep in mind is that even though the provisional rules restrict the use of Hikiwasa, you want to be prepared and ready. You want to be ready to execute it because it's not forbidden. Okay, this was just funny because like it's kind of like he just happened, right? So, again, Kamae against Jordan, you have to be mindful because you might think that you're safe in certain positions, but you might not be. Oh, wait, what happened here? Okay. So, if you watch here, again, I'm not a Jordan player, but kind of let's break down how he's able to make that opening and get this hippon. Sorry. So at this point, red is kind of putting the pressure and trying to see the reaction of the opponent, right? He resets his kamae. He puts pressure again. His opponent comes in a little bit forward, resets his kamae. His opponent kind of resets his kamae as well. Now, he put a little bit of pressure in the sense that he's kind of sliding in, but his opponent's kind of just frozen in there, and then he goes in for that attack. So, in your opinion, what do you think made this possible for him to get the kote? I think, in a way, red kind of started establishing a rhythm. White kind of fell into that rhythm, and then he just changed it. Watch. Right? So, rhythm in Kendo is so important, guys. And if you watch, look how, actually, I think Kem Kinchi, what's the name of the Darth Vader channel for Kendo? They did a video, I think recently, on their footwork. And if you watch, you have to understand how to use your legs, not only to move but also to create pressure. This Jordan player, I think, shows that in a very good way. I think this Jordan player shows it very good. 1, 2, 3. And if you notice it again, it's that, look at the rhythm. The rhythm is 1, 2, 3, right? So he's kind of like, I know it sounds funny, it probably look funny too, but. So in the article, I always mention this article from Chiba Sensei. He mentions about how to fight different types of opponent and trying out techniques in order to, or trying out motions in order to find the opening. And I think that this is. Oh, let me ask you something, guys. Can you guys cannot hear the. Okay, now you guys can hear the kendo thing, but trying out different motions in order to get an understanding of the reaction from the opponent. So in this case, he tried out the motion twice, and then he kind of went in the same way, but executed the technique. Oh, sorry, that was okay. 1, 2. This is something so interesting. This is something interesting to practice and something that you can implement easily within your practice. Try now to use your feet to create rhythm, to create pressure, understanding different motions, trying things like 1 and see what the person does. 2, did he do the same thing? Then on the third one, if you decide to do it again, you have to go or not do it again, because 1 or 2 things could happen. 1, the person can start realizing, oh, he's getting my rhythm. If you do it more than 3 times, you run the risk that they're going to catch up that this is what you're doing. But if you haven't done it by the third one, I don't think you should keep doing it, by the way. But the second one or the third one is the best time after you start understanding what the reaction of the opponent is. Another thing, and this is something that, these are my thoughts, this is not like a rule. I think that if you do it something once, twice, you see the reaction and you feel that, oh, he's catching up, that this is what I'm doing. Okay, you don't do it the third time, but you already know that this is their natural reaction, right? So then the next time, maybe you can do it once, and then that second one, you already know, okay, they're back into this mood, I'm going to do it. It's just little strategies, I guess, a little bit of playing chess with your opponent. Something that this is not technique wise in a sense. This is just a mental understanding of what the mood of the opponent is and what your mood is. I think it's important for us to start understanding how we act and react to things, to try to get information from our opponent and try to use that to our favor. Even though I'm overthinking this, don't overthink it, because then you'll be in trouble as well. So, okay, sorry. Let me just catch up with a couple of comments. Lots of Jordan today. Yeah, I guess this video had Jordan, which is cool. I think Discipline said it's a high school tournament, so this is not normally common, I think, for high school. So it's kind of cool to see. Discipline looked like Red was watching the rhythm of White's tip. If White's tip was too high, Red would have had swung around to hit the kote. Looks like the White's tip was low enough where Red hit diagonal for kote. Okay, let's watch a little bit of that. So what's interesting again is that early on we saw morote kote, right? Now we're watching katate. So he came in. I think the main thing, Discipline, you're right. I don't know if he was watching the tip. I prefer not to watch the tip, because the tip of the shinai can be very tricky in the sense it can disappear very easily. So if I put my attention there, I could be in danger. But definitely he was watching the rhythm, and everything that was happening. If you watch, white starts with the shinai fairly high and start lowering further and further, right? And at this point, he just goes in with that katate. The recovery though, that recovery for red to grab the shinai is very, very awesome. Watch this. So, hit that kote, gets out, and then he immediately tries to get back into the fight, right? Even though he gets the kote, you know, like he gets out and tries to get back into the fight. Anyways, very, very, very good. Back to Jordan. Oh, I wish you could have a better angle. That was a cool one. Because now this is the other one, right? This is the morote. You see, so when you're fighting a Jordan player, let me go back a little bit. When you're fighting when you're fighting a Jordan player, you gotta understand that Jordans can have a lot of control that might be unexpected, or we might not think that this is possible based on what we're seeing. So a lot of times people think that Jordan players cannot cross their legs, they cannot use both hands to strike, and they might think that the angle might be also restricted. And if you watch this kote, watch it. You can see that, hold on. You can see that the Jordan player can not only cross his legs, he can also bring the sword with both hands and hit in a very accurate angle that you wouldn't expect, I think, for Jordan players, right? Because he's bringing his hands down and hits in an upward angle slightly, right? To catch the kote as the player is trying to defend. So very, very interesting. Galaxy, you're saying at least what you observed, not a ton of women do Jordan. Is that just what you've seen? Or is it something that not a lot of women do? I think it has to do with the reasons why people start Jordan players. I think outside of Japan, people just started because they like it. I know in Japan, I actually have friends, actually not friends, just one friend, but I asked them about the situation, how Jordan is introduced, because he is, I haven't seen him lately, but I'm guessing he's still doing Kendo, a very, very good Jordan. He will do that thing that Shodai does after hitting the man. Sorry, after throwing the shinai, he will do that thing where like he will like swing the sword around to be back into his kamae, actually with this hand obviously. But that being said, he told me that his sensei made him go into Jordan because he told him that he sucked in Chudan. In Japan, I've seen plenty of women doing Jordan. Actually, I say Nicholas is here. Nick is here, and Nick, you will probably have the best recall on this because you're there. But tell us about a little bit about the situation of women in Jordan in Japan. But I think in Japan, it's, you know, I saw them often. Outside of Japan is where I see less and less of them. Maybe just because they don't feel confident to take such an aggressive position, because a lot of outside of Japan, a lot of the practices is, you know, men and women together. In Japan, a lot of the practices they have the benefit or the privilege to that just be women's practices. And I don't know, there could be a reason. I have no idea. Actually, I will have to. So Nicholas, you have 2 women Jordan players in your university, which this is super rare, I think. Like as it is, 2 in the same club, 2 Jordans in the same club, I think is very rare outside of Japan. Nonetheless, being 2 women doing Jordan, you know, super rare. So Galaxy, I think it has to do more about just who wants to do Jordan, especially when it comes outside of US. But this is completely my opinion. I have no authority when it comes to that. Nicholas said one came from Nakamura Gakuen, the other one from Kyushu Gakuen. That's cool. You know, so like they started early on and they just got their Jordan. So this is pretty awesome. By the way, Nick, thank you for being here. Thank you for passing by. Caitlin, you're asking, that's a very interesting question. What sort of players will I say are suited for Jordan players? I don't have that. I don't have that. What's it called? That thing where people say, "Oh, you have to be told to do Jordan." I don't think so. I think a lot of it has to do with how you want to do your kendo. Um, I think to be a Jordan player, you have to understand and learn to be aggressive, and also you have to be okay about getting hit in random places. So definitely not somebody that's not really strong of mind. That being said, if you're going in thinking that you're going to have an advantage by being in Jordan, these people should not do Jordan. Because, first of all, I think it's the wrong attitude to approach this stance. And then, second of all, it's going to stop you from actually learning and being able to really work on your what's it called on your skills, because if you're looking for just the little things you're gonna have over everybody else, I think it's going to be uh, bad for the long run. Right, so, you've heard that tall players are suited for Jordan. Yeah, they might be suited for Jordan, right? Just like having long arms are suited for kendo or like any fighting style. But what I'm saying is that yeah, there are people obviously they're gonna have an advantage or they're gonna be better, as you said, suited for it. But I think anybody can do it, right? Nicholas Silver says Jordan sacrifices all defense essentially. You need to have confidence. Yes, that's correct. I agree with that. In your skill set to keep moving forward. Arguably, if you have any doubts, you wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I stand behind that because again, it has to be. I actually met sensei that are much shorter than me that they do Jordan, and they're fire. Like they come in and when you do tate with them, they might be shorter than you, but you bounce because they're really coming in. They're putting everything behind it. So you have to be prepared to be able to fight against a very jumpy opponent and somebody that is not jumpy at all. And like it's just, you have to be able to shift a lot, but regardless, you have to be the aggressor. You are going to be an aggressor. So yeah, I think what Nicholas said like sums it up. Uh, Nick, you're saying your census 5'2" exclusively dominates in Jordan and the 7 and 8 that division in Oita. So yeah, you see, like, so it's not tall at all. Not tall at all. Nice kote, nice kote. Yamamoto Sensei too. He's not that tall. I think this is okay. I don't want to be demonetized if they're putting weird music there. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to head out soon, so let's skip up a little bit towards the final. This is the most played part, so let me go to that part. Steven, yeah, you gotta have core. That's another thing. Actually, I've been doing a little bit of kind of like overthinking. Let's just call it that on core for kendo, and I think that in the long run you can develop like bad aches if you don't actually take care of your core when it comes to practicing kendo. That being said, yeah, I think for Jordan players, I think it has to be like that little extra. This is a crazy ippon. Too bad that it's not on the like this bad angle of the camera. Yes, yes, right. I understood that. I understood that completely about the suited doesn't mean requirement. Yeah, sorry if I said it in a way that didn't make it. Uh, you know what if I wasn't clear? Sorry. I'm still thinking right now that I have to pack and all this stuff, so I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. Nick, you're saying that we think it's important to understand both sides of the ball game, so to speak, from receiving to applying, expands your knowledge base. Yes, and I would recommend too for everybody to kind of dabble at least, if the very least find a Jordan player and talk to them about this because you want to know kind of like how it's done, so that way you can fight against it, right? This is the beautiful thing about understanding rhythm in Kendo. You see, he came in with a lot of pressure, fast motions, relax for a second, and then boom, attacked. Very cool. Discipline. You have to understand Uchima and Chudan in order to do Yodan. Once in Yodan, you have no contact with your opponent Shina. You really have to learn gauging your distance. Yes. And I think who was it? Was it Galaxy or Caitlin that said earlier today? Caitlin, what sort of player would you say are suited for Yodan? So I'm going to say this. Somebody also that understands distance and technique. I wouldn't recommend anybody to go into Yodan unless they understand distance. So for example, I have a student right now that he's having a little bit back foot, but he doesn't want to stop doing Kendo. I don't want him to injure himself. So for me, all the exercises that I give him, if I want to stay practicing and switching the legs, of course I tell him to take Yodan, but everything is basic for him to understand distance. So even just like slow, just going in and just hitting the right distance and be able to be on Kamae to then go up. So all these things, they are very important. But if you are going to be a Yodan player, you have to understand distance by heart. You cannot rely on your Shinai. You don't rely. You're not able to rely on your Shinai. Nick, one of the easiest way for you to see how experienced someone is in Yodan is to watch their left wrist. How rotated it is in open, willing to chilling their distance. Right, saying great knowledge in chat today. Yeah, like very, very, very true. Nicholas, there is really excellent video from Chiba Sensei that English subtitles in YouTube Kendo Jidai channel that explains how to attack Yodan by simming with Suki. Yeah, I remember I seen Aklimat. As a matter of fact, there's a very old video that Kendo Jidai just redid, right? So, I not read it subtitle, but this is an old video from him, right? If the one that I'm thinking. Oh, that could have gone either way. That could have gone either way. So, look how wide comes in. He's going to try to do two techniques, but the timing is kind of weird because he kind of lifts himself open and without a balance. And then red is able to come in not before white makes contact, right? But the funny thing was the angle on how white hit. It's crazy because, you know, I think at first glance you wouldn't be able to see that he didn't actually make good contact. That's very good. Very good shin punning. You know what? Do you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. As I was watching this, I knew that this guy was going to do something interesting. And by the way, this is crazy that if this is a high school tournament and they are doing these techniques and they're fighting at this level, this is amazing, insane. So if you watch, there's a lot of things that are happening from this side that I really like on... there are a couple things that are happening here that I really like. First of all, his kamae, right? He's able to kind of have himself in a solid position to go forward. On top of that, he is playing around with his lower body and his shinai. He's using his shinai to kind of gauge the reaction of the opponent, try to even take control of the center, or just, you know, trying to figure out what the opponent's reaction is going to be, but at the same time using his footwork to kind of lower his body to give a little bit more pressure. Bringing the legs together, the control of going forward and backwards. Look at this moment right here. Forward, sorry, not there, hold on. He goes in, look how he goes forward and backwards right here to then go back in forward. Backwards, forward, damn. Crazy, 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 crazy. Nicholas, you have to face this every week from high schoolers. High schoolers come to your downtown practice. The school is located in the same city. They are a top high school national. That's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna go visit you just so I can get my butt kicked. Ah, look, there's a zoom on this. Watch. Forward, backwards, forward. Amazing, amazing ippon. Now we know where is the most watched section of the video, right? Sorry. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, so if you watch, you see he puts a little bit of pressure. He tries to take the center. He goes around with the shinai and, to try to land in the center. He doesn't land on it, okay? He doesn't stress about it. Instead, he puts pressure forward. Kind of, starts playing with the distance. It's going forward and then directly into that tsuki. How crazy is this tsuki, right? Look at this. Wow. It's an amazing ippon. It's crazy, crazy. So, guys, if you haven't, please hit the like button. It really helps the video get pushed out to more people out there. Again, if you would like to be part of the Discord server, I'm gonna put the link down in the comments. I can't really stay here too long, guys, because I do have to do a couple of things before I can finish packing and getting my stuff ready. Again, this is my last stream. What's it called? Before I go to Japan. So hopefully while I'm there, please let me know if there's anything that you would like me to share from my trip. If there's anything that you want to to ask. If you guys need any help finding practices, if you happen to go over there, please join the Discord and send me a message there. That being said, thank you very much, guys, for being here. I really appreciate everybody's being here, especially the members of the channel. You guys are a big support, and I really appreciate all your help. And I hope I can give back with effort and good content, the stuff that you guys are doing for me. So please stay tuned for videos coming up. I'll be doing some lives, exclusive lives for the members of the channel, and also be doing some lives while I'm in Japan. So please stay tuned. If you have any questions, let me know. I will appreciate if you can send those my way. Any recommendations as well, if you could, please send them my way. If you guys have any questions, please let me know before I head out. I'll be here in the computer for a little bit, so please do so. And thank you guys very much for being here. I'll keep you guys updated as the trip goes along, okay? Take care, bye. Have a good one.